Broadcasting live. It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
All right. Well, as I said, our guest this first hour is with a company called POIEO3D, and they believe that every family, student, and child should benefit from the amazing world of three-dimensional printing. I agree with that, too. Now, POIEO3D commits to developing an expanding line of 3D printers and accessories designed to be easy to use, affordable, and elegant for your home, school, or office. I don't know if I've heard the word elegant for a 3D print, but I guess that would work. Maybe we'll find out why elegant. They strive to bring you the latest and greatest 3D print technology with a quality that they stand behind and a price that you can afford. Joining us tonight is Thomas Zelenka. Tom is the co-founder of POIEO3D. Tom, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having us on the show. I'm doing very well.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk a little bit about 3D printing and kind of set things up, and then we'll actually see if we can get a demonstration of 3D printing. But for those maybe not as familiar with it, why don't you, in your own words, talk about what 3D printing is and how does it work?
Well, so 3D printing is not necessarily something brand new, but it's been around for a number of years now, probably since the 80s, actually, when 3D printing first started. Mm-hmm. But what it is actually being able to make a physical object printed instead of being fabricated in a regular manner, which is, typically things are built, they're built out of wood or cut out of plastic or molded. Mm-hmm. This is a technology where you can build something directly printing it within your home in this case. And the way it works is you can think of a 3D object being created in space, like virtually within a computer, mm-hmm. drawn in some way or another. And then what the printing software does is it slices that image into thousands or hundreds of thin layers, like paper-thin layers. And then each of those layers is then printed by the printer one on top of the other in the correct order such that it creates the object that you're trying to make. And in this case, each of those layers is made by you can almost think of it like a hot melt glue gun that almost extrudes and puts a thin layer of plastic in just the right shape such that each layer, when it's built up, creates what you're looking to make. So it's a very neat technology in being able to do that, and it's certainly a very, very precise hot melt glue gun to be able to do that for us. So you can almost think of it like putting together a loaf of bread by taking each slice, putting one on top of the other in the correct order, such that when you build them up one on top of the other, you get your full loaf of bread that comes out of the printer.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah. Sounds delicious, except you probably wouldn't want to eat this. It is plastic, but the one thing that our printer does is the material that it uses is a very safe material. It's called PLA, polylactic acid is like the full name, mm-hmm. but it's a biodegradable type of material made out of like sugar cane and such products.
Okay.
So, yeah, such that it biodegrades over time. Okay. And when it's heated in the printer, it doesn't actually give off any foul odors, which is one of the reasons why we picked that particular type of material. Yeah.
Yeah, all these different considerations. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Real quick, is that what? I mean, 3D printers, like there's not just one price range. There's not just one for $300. There's not one for $1,000. Like they're all over the place. Is what makes a 3D printer more or less expensive? Like, kind of how they do the job that you just described? Like, is it more precise, quote-unquote, printing? Is it, different kind? Like, what makes the price of a 3D printer?
Yeah, so there's different technologies for 3D printing. So if you think of some of the ones that are used to make make a heart valve or tooth implant, they use very specific materials. Like it has to be, say, ceramic material, or for tooth, or heart valve, obviously a different type of material as well. So those printers can be very expensive for medical purposes. Then there's different methodologies in printing. What I described as one method. There's other methods where say, a laser heats up almost like a liquid layer, and just the top layer always gets frozen with the laser, and then that moves down and creates a shape that way. So there's different methodologies, and each of them have different costs associated with them, benefits and drawbacks associated with them. So I mean, one aspect of cost then is the actual methodology for 3D printing. Another one is certainly trying to and another one is certainly looking at what margin the company is expecting to make, and kind of where they're trying to position their market.
Sure.
And what we're trying to do here with POIEO is address that. I mean, when we looked at this, we were basically a couple of some interested families that were very interested in technology and wanted to bring that home to our kids, so for them to learn about it and for us to learn about it, because it's truly kind of transformational, we think, into the future, and certainly important to be able to understand and have a head start and being able to work with that kind of technology. But when we looked around, as you said, I mean, there's quite a varying degree of price points. But the printers that looked quite nice and would be of a good quality tended to be at a higher price point than what we would afford, and what I think typical families would be able to put forth to a printer like this. So we set out to see can we make one that's of a good quality and would look good and be easy to use, and yet be at a price point that is reasonable for a typical family that could be able to afford. So I mean, I think there's different reasons that drive price. Certainly, I think aesthetics is one of them as well. So some of the very lower price printers, they're more almost like kits that you would put together, and not necessarily what we felt everybody would want to have in their home.
Right. So basically, you found yourself in the position of you wanted the 3D printer for your family, but you really couldn't find anything that was affordable. I mean, there are printers out there that print food. We covered one out in CES, actually printed using sugar. I mean, and I know there are these gourmet 3D printers that cost thousands of dollars, and they can be, but they're designed for the food industry, really. So if you want to do a topper for a cake, okay, that's fine, but you're going to spend a lot of money. So you want to find something where people would use a 3D printer at their home. And just briefly, why would someone want to have a 3D printer at home, and what would they use it for?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's just a ton of fun, and if you have kids, I mean, they're gonna love it. Yeah. Maybe this is a good time, and I can show you some of the things that we've made. Yeah, let me just point the camera around, right? So, kids, they can physically make their own toys. So here, for example, we printed, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, it's a little car.
Yeah, it's a little car, and the wheels actually, turn. This is printed in one print.
In one print, you printed it out?
Really? Yeah, it just prints, in one print. It prints on the side like this, and it builds up one layer at a time, and you pull it off, and the wheels turn. You can scale it, so you can have a little car or a big car, right? You can print whatever in different colors.
You can put that one in the trunk.
Yeah, you can put this one in the trunk of that one, yeah. And this one too, the little wheels, it's hard to focus, but they also turn too, right? So you can print very precise things. Then like my kids...
You didn't have to assemble that. In other words, it actually printed with the little wheels spinning.
Yeah, it actually printed with the little wheels spinning. So the same thing here. So this is so if you're an engineer and you're maybe prototyping, let me put this down a little bit. There's a wrench. It also printed in one go. And it actually works. You can actually turn it, and it's all integrated, so it actually closes and opens. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be strong enough to open a something,
no,
but it
prototype, as you say, if you're.
But for prototyping, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So things like that. Then what else would you use it for at home? So we're getting ready for holidays here, so we're making some cookie cutters.
Oh,
right?
look
So
at that. Yeah.
So you can print all different kinds of shapes. So these ones, if you make cookies out of them, then you can put them together and they slide together and make like a 3D tree, really.
Right. And you have a little chair there, okay?
Yeah. So like for a doll house, or a kid's house, we make all kinds of doll furniture. Again, back to the baking. So we use this to make like baking decorations. You talked about baking before, but this is like, say, a flower you might top a cake with.
Wow. Okay.
It's hard to see, but it prints out pretty nice.
Now it looks like something very complex, a little vehicle with gears and everything right behind that.
Yeah, and this is so educational wise, right? So I mean, kids, they're learning in school about gears and things like that. So you can print something like this. It's actually a little. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's all little cars. Even a spring you can print out that physically works. So you can wind it up.
Look at that.
And then, hold on, I'll see if it goes, but and then it actually, it'll go.
Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah.
And it's printed out like that. That is amazing.
Yeah. You didn't have to assemble that. That was all in one print.
Well, no. So this is each color here. These are separate. The gears print separately, and then you assemble it. So it's like a little kit. A little kid can, a kid, 10-year-old boy or girl, can print it out, and then put it together, and they have a little toy. And it integrates quite well with some of the program that they do in their curriculum, looking at how gears work, because you can understand, when a big wheel turns a little wheel, what it actually does. It speeds things up or slows them down, etc.
And I see all kinds of things. I see chess pieces there. It looks like there's a fantasy image there on that green podium.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah. So this just shows kind of, the accuracy, right? So it's like a dragon. But you can see it's quite intricate in terms of the wings, how they go. You can print anything like this out.
Wow, that is very cool. Now, what we would like to do is we want to continue talking about all these things, but let's see the little printer itself, the POIEO3D printer that made.
Yeah. So let me show you that. So it's actually it has kind of a bright light inside, so you can see what's being printed. Let's see if it adjusts.
Right. Exactly.
So it looks like this. I mean, a couple neat things. So you asked about kind of aesthetics. So we tried to make a printer that doesn't necessarily look out of place in your office, or even in your child's room, right?
It looks like like a large clock or something, that on your desktop with but basically it's like rectangular with rounded corners, and inside I see like a little tray. Of some sort. Exactly, and as you say, it's well lit. And what we're going to actually do is we're going to actually print out. While we're doing the interview here, we're going to have it print out something very simple like a dice cube, a die. We're print out a cube. And in order to do that, basically you have some software which you load into the computer. And
so I mean it's more or less plug and play. We'll look at some of the other objects after too, because there's some pretty fun ones there. But let me see if I can put this on the screen.
Yeah.
And move us out of the way here. But basically, what we have is, okay. Let me just start from the beginning. So we would open up the software, close this up, just connect to the. Hold on, let me actually make sure you can see it.
Yeah, we see it fine.
Then it's fairly straightforward actually. What you do is you open up the file that you're looking to print,
right?
And there's thousands and thousands of images available online. On the internet, or you can make your own, even some simple things with free software actually. I mean, we can look at that too if we have time. But you would say open up your object. In this case, it's just something simple like a little dice.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, the other thing that needs to happen within the software, so this is your 3D image, is the slice. So you hit the slice button. Right. I mean, you can just take the default settings, and then it takes a few seconds, and basically what it's doing inside is taking this object and creating layers out of it, like your slices of bread.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yep. And then once the slices of bread are there, then it disappears. Actually, we can show it here if we look at it.
All right.
See, these are. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do this within, but it's just to show for demonstration purposes here. These are the individual slices, right? That it tries to print up one layer at a time.
Got it. I see that.
And it goes up and up and up and up and up and up until you actually make your cube.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to look at those details in general, but just for demo, and then you just run at that point, and basically what happens is the printer has to warm up, and then it'll start printing.
Okay.
We can just let it go for a little while and keep talking.
Yeah, exactly. So what we'll do is we'll actually watch the printer start printing the dice cube. Why don't you lower it a little bit further down so we can see the bottom of it? There you go. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
It's gonna move up actually in a bit. So what it does first is remember how I said it's almost like a hot melt glue gun.
Yes.
And so what happens is, oops, hold on a sec. So what happens is the filament, which actually while it's doing that, I'll just show you the filament. So the filament comes like a roll like this.
Oh yeah, it looks like the same thing you would say like a weed whacker, you know?
Yeah, exactly what it is. A weed whacker is nylon, but very similar, right? And this is just a different type of material.
Right.
Let me just kind of focus in on it. It's it's about it's like a 1/16 of an inch maybe or so thick, right? Material.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's just wound up, just like weed whacker cable, and then that gets pulled into the extruder head, which kind of gets pulled in here, and it prints it into the right shape for each layer. So after it warms up, it'll get started on its own.
All right. Well, while it's doing that, obviously you're showing that it's not difficult to use the POIEO3D at all. The software is very friendly to use, almost intuitive, really. You can pick the image. Now, you say you can find many objects to print out, on the internet. But if you want to, can you design your own as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can. Yeah, there's actually very simple software where you can design your own. I mean, you don't have to be an engineer to do it. Actually, I'm going to take it off the printer for a second and just show you something here.
Sure.
So we can. There's even a free software called SketchUp. You just download this.
Yeah.
Start using SketchUp. You start with a just a window like this, and you can say draw, I don't know, a polygon like this, and then you go like this. I don't know if you guys can see that.
And you made it like a column.
Yeah, it makes almost like a cup, but if you want it to be a cup, then you kind of offset the outside, you bring it in a little bit, and then you push this part back down.
You make a cup.
Boom, you're done, right? You have a cup,
yeah.
And now you file, you just export it, and then you open it up in the printer and it prints.
Now, is the printer starting to print? Because
it is actually.
I'm gonna get back over to there so people can see the printer doing its thing. And
so
then why don't we just leave it there, okay? And let me and then we'll continue to talk.
Yes, let me close this.
Obviously the POIEO3D, easy to use. Where did you get the name POIEO3D? Where did that come from?
Well, POIEO is actually a Greek word which means to make or create. So we obviously kind of tried to find a name that makes sense for what the company or what the vision of the company would be, which is to make or create things, and this is what our printers are doing, that they make or create. So it's quite well, I think, fitted for that, and it's that's where it started from, essentially, the name.
Now I'm watching the head, and again, if you're not watching, just listen to the show. You should check out the video, and if not, you should certainly check out the archive of the computer of this particular computer America to watch to see how it's working. But it's just basically starting to print the little die out. Now, is the material that we're talking about, is it expensive? I mean, what does a typical print cost? What's it going to cost you to print this this die cube?
Well, we can wait after. It'll probably cost like 10 cents to make that die.
Okay.
It ends up costing about maybe 4 cents for every gram. So a gram is not very much. So let me give you a sense. Like this little card, that white card that we looked at.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That would probably cost about $2 to make.
Okay.
If you looked at, like that little flower, for example, for the cake that we looked at.
Yeah.
That would maybe be like 40 cents or so.
Okay. So it's not expensive at all. I mean, any more than using an inkjet printer to print out a color image or something. It seems to me that the costs are comparable or close to it. To either.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, or like I'll show you something. This is kind of fun. So my kids are really into into this game called Minecraft. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's basically like a 3D world where you can make things. Well, so my 5-year-old, he made this ship inside the oh, let me just leave that on the.
Yeah, leave it on the printer.
And he made a ship in Minecraft, and so everything's made out of these cube blocks.
Yeah.
And he wanted to print it, so you can export it. I'll just put this out in front. We exported it.
Yeah.
And we printed it out for him.
For Minecraft, there it is. A little
Not bad for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, and so my other kids are more into it, and they have like they made like a world, and you can print out your like a little house. Yeah, a little house in the the mountains and things. So you can do all kinds of fun things like that where I mean it's something you wouldn't typically have at home, but it really brings out.
Why not? I mean, if you have kids, I mean, I can certainly see this is fun. I mean, this is certainly something that even the whole family can kind of get together and kind of do together.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I think this is a very interesting. Now, what we're seeing here is that the printer head is going back and forth and left and right, and as it's printing each layer, it looks like the base on which the cube is resting is moving down in small increments. So each time it wants to do a new layer, the base moves down a step. So
exactly.
Right. So basically,
exactly.
That is very clever. So,
and I don't know if we can. I mean, if we can get it at just the right angle.
It's fine.
But then it'll come up after a minute or so. You'll see the whole thing come up.
Sure, I can see part of it now. And it looks like it's using a blue color for the cube. It looks blue.
Yeah, this is a blue one. Yeah, so we picked it had a blue ink in it, and you can change the filament partway through. So there's a button here to change it if you wanted a multicolor. So just to show.
No, you don't have to stop it. Let it go.
Yeah, we'll just let it go. But this is one where we change, from white.
Look at that. Yeah.
To pink to white. So you can change different colors. Or the other thing that we're experimenting with is looking at some of the filaments are actually conductive, like wires. So we're looking at one. We don't quite have it yet, but you can almost, like you see here. So what we've done is created a battery holder, and if you can imagine this black filament, if that was conductive, then if you press this, the little light would come on. So again, like a little project for kids. So we're just ordering some of that filament right now to try it out, and we'll post it on our website once we can print out the little flashlight.
Now you can make more complex objects too. You showed us before the show. You actually showed us a little car that had a spring and blue wheels, and just hold it up to the in front of the printer there so we can see it. And now there it is. Now look at that. That's got gears. The white is an actual spring. Just the red knob. You twist it, and it winds up the spring, and then the car will actually roll. There it goes. It would roll.
Yeah.
Now that's a more complex and there are like four steps. You print out the spring first and the gear, and then you print out the wheels, and you print out the knobs, or the colors of the different. Okay. And then. And so, how long does it take to actually print that out and assemble something like that?
To print out this car, each of the maybe the gears, probably 3-4 hours to print everything in the end, because you have to pull them all and do them again. So, what I found is, it's not terribly fast, but what we'll do is maybe we'll run a print in the morning, and the kids are so excited when they come home from school. Almost like Christmas morning or in the night or something. If it runs overnight, then in the morning they'll be running downstairs to see.
Everything's waiting for them. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, like this little robot here. Like this little guy, I printed also in one one step. Yeah. And his legs and his arms, they all kind of move. You can turn his head around.
And that was printed with one step. There was no assembly required for that. That is amazing.
This one's no assembly. Yeah.
If the arms move, the legs move, the head moves, and they're kind of interconnected. And it actually just kind of appears, I guess, in the morning. There's your robot.
There's your toy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The two little eyes. That's you can do some pretty amazing things with this. Now, if you're into designing, I know if you're into engineering and you want to do a prototype. Let's say you're designing a tool or something. You showed us a wrench. Yeah. Let's see that, because this wrench is just not a wrench. It has the little wheel in the center there, and when you open and close, it'll open and close the wrench. And again, this is all one process. In other words, you didn't have to assemble this. It was just
No.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just all printed.
Yeah, it opens and closes. So,
Yeah.
so if you're designing a prototype,
Yep.
what better way to do it? Especially if you're an inventor and you want to design a prototype for something, you're thinking of patenting something. They want you could use your printer to do the basic prototype. This is an amazing. This is an amazing thing. No,
Here's another fun one. This is a cell phone case for your iPhone 5.
look at that.
And this is not printed in one step, but all these are printed out separately, and you can kind of put them together, and you've got a little. I guess it's a little engine, right? It's for an engineer.
It's a little engineer. It says engineering case. Exactly.
Yeah. So,
and it's very colorful, and it actually is a case for your iPhone.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun. I mean, there's millions of different cases you can print out. Or here's one that this is actually something that was combined for one of our engineers has a Mini, and he made this thing, which I guess this he just bought, but he made this case so he could just clip his iPhone into it, and this part sticks on his window like a standard purchase thing. But it didn't have a good way to put the phone on. Like it asks you to kind of stick the phone on, but he wanted to be able to remove it. So
yeah, that's very, very cool. I mean, see, again, inventive and great for a prototype. Now the dice cube, I would say, is about a third of the way, and we've been talking only for a few minutes, and it's about
it's getting there. Yeah,
it's about a third printed, and so in about before the end of the hour, we should have the completed dice cube.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So let's just
now when it comes off the the tray, is it like cookies where if you take it off too quick it falls apart and you can't do anything with it? Like, is there any cooling time, or is it just as it prints it's probably cool by the time it finishes?
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually by the time it finishes, and I don't know if you can kind of see the grill. There's actually a fan there.
Yes, that's it.
And the fan is something to help cool the part. So when you have an intricate part, like when we looked at that dragon, for example, right, and you see the wings.
Look how intricate that is.
If you're trying to print something very small like that, and there's a lot of heat in there, you need a cooling fan like that that's running at the right speed to cool it down, so your part has a good kind of stability and it's very accurate.
Yeah. Listen, Tom, we're at the bottom of the hour, so we're going to take a little commercial break. But I don't know if you were able to hear it. You could actually hear the sound of the printer. It's pretty quiet considering.
Yeah, it's not too loud. Yeah.
No, not loud at all. Certainly wouldn't keep the household up. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to continue on. We're talking to Tom Zelenka. He is the co-founder of POIEO3D, and we're actually doing a 3D printer demonstration if you're watching our live computer video stream. We're on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Lots more coming up. A news tips bulletin review coming up next, too. Stay with us. Hey.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's 33 minutes past the hour. That was Maureen Winston with a news tip bulletin review, and we have Tom Zelenka here from POIEO3D, and we're talking all about 3D printers. We actually have a live demonstration. So yes, as we've said before, please check out our live video that we have during the interview, and if you're catching this post show, check out the archive video, because this thing is, if you were ever confused about any aspect of how this thing works, I mean this no longer. This explains it all. But it's one of the things that we kind of glossed over, and I think if anyone who's thinking about getting into 3D printing, it could be seen as kind of a hurdle, and that is, you touched a little bit about sure, there's free software and you could design your own objects, but some people, maybe they don't feel creative, or they don't want to learn how to use CAD designing and things like that. You mentioned that there were websites where you could get free blueprints, kind of, like free files that had items in them. I know that they have websites now where you actually have to go and you pay $30, $40, $50 to use their plans.
By the way, it's done. We're actually watching it lower down, the completed cube. So, and that took about how long to print the dice? About
15 minutes, probably.
About 15 minutes or so, yeah.
Look, it's even lowering it down, and so you can reach in.
See, here's where we need to build in a smoke machine and like backlit.
Yeah, and let me show you something. This is something neat that hold on, let me get back to just so you can see it. Yeah. So one thing that we've done on our printers too is make this part easy to take out. So all you do is you just kind of lift it out, and you have this platform, and you can take it out.
Look at that. There it is.
Yeah, and then you just kind of pop it off, and there you have it. You can put this back.
Let's see what it looks like. Now it's got the numbers on it. Yeah, it's got the numbers on it.
It's got the numbers. Sometimes it's got a little bit of strings. Let me.
Yeah, Jonathan, I think it was actually Star Fortress wanted to know if it prints everything smooth, or did you have to sand it? And obviously, it looks very smooth to me. You don't have to sand it off at all. It's ready to go, right? And
yeah.
If you wanted to paint it, I guess you could paint it too, right?
Yeah. So none of these parts are sanded. You know, I mean, so the one thing here, there's different ways to adjust the accuracy of the printer as well. So if you want something really, really smooth, you can make the layers thinner or thicker.
Ah.
So yeah. So when you make the layers thinner, it would be like a higher quality print.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes longer, but it's higher quality. And then if you want something quicker, then this would be like a standard quality, which is like what we did here. But I mean, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's pretty smooth anyway.
It's almost glossy. It's almost glossy. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you can see like this guy here, which is pretty neat.
Look
this
at that.
Dinosaur guy.
Yeah.
Now this was printed in a few parts that kind of come together, right? So what you have to do is it's like a bone, right? That you can.
Look at that.
It comes apart, right? So so you have like the upper.
Look at that. Yeah, exactly.
Can't quite focus it, but.
It's the top part of the skull, and
yeah.
Looks like and there it is. Is that some sort of a dinosaur? It looks like.
Yeah, it's like a
T-Rex
thing, right? It's like a T-Rex, yeah. And then the bottom part and it clips together, so it's pretty neat. But you asked about painting it. Yeah, absolutely. You can do crafts and things like that. So. You know, there's let me show you something here. Hold on. Where did it go?
Yeah, I think you had a photograph.
Yeah. So for example, the other thing that you can do is also you can scan an image of a person or whatever you want really, and then you can print it out. And then this is my daughter painted this after. Mm-hmm. You can as a craft you can then create a keepsake of say your child for example. And the way that works is you take pictures from like 20 different pictures around their head. Mm-hmm. And it gets assembled into a 3D image, and you can cut it out and print it out, I should say, and then paint it if you like. Very, very slick. Yeah, very neat. You got some quite a number of little of items there. Oh look, there. Oh no, that's you. I thought. Well, that's me. That's not a 3D printed object. I thought he printed one of you. It could be. Oh, this is kind of neat too. So we have a just like a vase. Oh, looks like a vase. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a vase. You can. I mean, you can make one of these things and paint it. Make a nice little gift. Yeah, a nice little gift or craft. Sure, kids made a game. So actually, I'll show you this. This is you saw the chess piece. Well, you can make a whole bunch of them. Oh, neat. A whole chessboard full of pieces. Look at that. I don't know if it's not completely in focus, but. See it now. We see it fine. Yeah, but you get the idea. So. But I mean, like you could, like if you wanted to, and you were inclined to do so, you could probably like edit each of those chess pieces and make custom chessboards for yourself and things like that. Yeah, you could. Yeah, if you're so inclined, you could make the the head, your head on one of the king or the queen, and have your own chess game. That's for sure. You should raise your camera up just a little bit more. There you go. There we go. Yeah. A little more. Hey, good. Yeah. All right. So listen. Thank you so much for that demonstration. And again, if you missed the demonstration, we have a lot of people watching it now live. But of course, the archive you can see. Oh, look, there's a little cube there. Now the dice. Yeah. Now, how much does that weigh? About a gram? You say? So this is probably about a gram. I have a little scale here. We can check exactly. Oh, you have a scale. I do. Yes. You gotta figure things out. Yeah. Weight exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's what it weighs. It's not even registering. It must be about a gram, so it's probably about 4 cents. 4 cents to print that cube. So you can do dice for 8 cents. There you go. Yeah. So if you're getting ready for your poker game and you can't find your some game, you can't find your die, then you can get yourself ready. Even a whistle. Look at this. You can make you printed out a whistle. That's what I want to know. Can you make a whistle? Does it have a little ball inside of it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it has a
Well,
it's hard to see, but yeah, it has a.
now is the little ball in
You
there
can hear
that's
it shaking.
now the little ball that's rattling around there was printed at the same time. I mean, that's without you having to stick the ball inside the whistle. I mean,
Right, right. Yeah, it was printed right inside,
that,
and
that that to me is amazing. So the ball, so it has the ability to make two separate pieces, a piece within a piece. The printer has that capability.
yeah. So, but when it actually prints it, the ball is attached by almost like a stem at the very bottom,
Yeah.
and you just take a little screwdriver and you click it off, and it comes off.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is. So somebody asked if you can make a whistle. So in the chat room. So there you go. Yes, you can make your own whistle.
You definitely can. Yeah, yeah. That was useful this summer when we were coaching and we were out of a whistle, so we had to print one before the game. So there you go.
And you print.
Yeah.
I guess you could take it to the next level too if you want. If you had some sort of a car part or something. I mean, a decorative car part. You know, like a something that on the inside of the car, and you can't get it anymore. You can actually, you could print it out on this and put it on there. I guess you could do that.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, on our on our Kickstarter campaign, and I'll kind of show everybody where that is after. But there's some pictures where we had an antique chair at home,
Mm-hmm.
and the and there's a piece on it that got broken, and I was able just to basically take a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a meshed piece.
Yeah.
And I took a picture of it. I printed it out in like a black ink and
Yeah.
kind of matched it perfectly, and fixed the chair that otherwise would have been.
Well, now you see that is amazing. So, now you mentioned the Kickstarter campaign. Tell us what the POIEO3D Kickstarter campaign is all about.
Yeah, so where we are right now is if we have a number of different machines like the one that you just saw built, prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
We have kind of production facilities set up, and the next step for us is to start basically a production run of these printers. But in order to do so, there's some pretty expensive tooling that needs to be purchased for, like the outside casing. You can see it's a big case, and you wonder how this one was made. Well, how else? It was 3D printed, right, on a bigger 3D printer. But for a production run, we would use an like a molded piece, and those kinds of molds are very expensive, and also the materials, to do a production run can be expensive. So what we set out to do is a Kickstarter campaign, and the way Kickstarter works is people can go on to Kickstarter, look at the product, and you've seen it here today, and then they can pre-order it. They basically commit to purchasing it, and then we build it, we run our production run, and we deliver it to them in the early part of next year.
Now, if you want to see that, of course, we have that up on our website. If you go to computeramerica.com and just click on our show notes button right there in the middle of the home page, you'll see today's show, which is November the 26th, and you'll see the description of the POIEO3D, and Tom Zelenka's name is up there, and the link to the POIEO3D is right there. So just click on it, and it'll take you to the POIEO3D website, and you can, if you want to reserve one for yourself, it'll take you to the Kickstarter campaign, and that stays up forever. So, and that's up there for you to look at. So we just make it really easy for our listeners to find out more information about this. What do you think the suggested price of this is going to be?
Well, so in the market, once it's in kind of retail stores, Canadian dollars, it would be $7.99.
Okay.
For U.S. dollars, it would be less, about 700, I guess, by the time you do the conversion the way the dollar is going today. But right now, to entice people in the Kickstarter campaign, we have a special promotion, and in U.S. dollars, it's about $570 US, and you get everything that you need to get started. You get your printer, your software, a roll of filament, and the other thing that we're going to do is have a lot of educational material put online onto our website to teach you how to do all the things that the ones that we looked at today, and other kind of fun things, and educational things too. So we're looking also at some partnerships with some educators to actually put together programs that will be used for curriculum type learning for schools and for kids in school. So there's all kinds of different educational and learning material that people will have access to once they become one of our customers.
Yeah, I mean, I could see these in schools too. I mean, I could see it like
Hmm.
with these printers. You have to probably tear the kids away from them. I mean, it's just it's very very intriguing to create and to watch and to come up with something or to think of something and then see that what you're thinking about actually being transcribed into an actual 3D object.
Probably more fun than Connects.
Yeah.
Probably more fun than Connects. Well,
Or you can make
it's
an export if you.
it's a lot of fun, but it's also education. Like it actually allows the kids, and the kids have a tremendous kind of capacity, I think, for learning and for dealing with technology. I mean, you look at kids today and iPads. I mean, it just comes naturally to them. But also, they can not only play games, but they can actually learn how to do that. Like I showed you the small CAD program where we made that cup. Well, if kids can learn to visualize and work like that, I mean, it gives them certainly it's a very worthwhile investment, I think, for a family to bring to their home, so that their kids and they can benefit from it. They can have fun, but it makes learning fun. So it's kind of two birds with one stone.
I hear what you're saying. You're saying, don't worry, parents. You don't have to learn this. Just sit your 6-year-old and have them figure it out for you. Is what you're saying.
Kind of like the VCR, yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
still flashing 12. Let me ask you this. So you get the printer and you get a roll of filament, and then the cost of a roll of filament, are they all the same thickness, and the only difference is the colors? Is that the main difference, or is the material different?
So there's different filaments and different colors and different thicknesses as well. So our printer, we're not out there to kind of gouge people down the road. I think what we're trying to come up with also is a fair price for the filament down the road.
Oh, well,
We're not necessarily constricted to buy our filament, but I mean it's matched the printer, but other filaments will work as well.
Well, it's amazing. You can take a lesson from the printer companies. Some of them will even give you the printer almost for free, and then charge you for the ink cartridges where they money. But obviously, it doesn't sound like you're going to do that. Before I forget, I wanted to ask you. So if someone's using something like that's I guess more of an industry standard, like for example AutoCAD or something. Can they use AutoCAD, the files that it creates? Can you use those files, or can you have it create files that the POIEO3D would be able to use?
Yeah, exactly. I mean the way it's set up is that it's able to integrate with existing software. So virtually every software can export what's called an STL file, and all the major CAD programs will be able to do that. They're all able to. It's an industry standard. So there's no issue with integration with other programs that people would have out there, or from the free material on different websites, or the material that we will eventually integrate into our website too, as people are able to download images and upload their own, and kind of create a community that way.
Yeah. What about platforms? Does it work on PC, Mac, Windows? What kind of systems does it work with, or will it work with?
Yeah, it works with both PC and Mac. So the software is compatible for both. You can also run this on a Unix machine as well, using kind of the open source software. But if there's demand for it, we'll also kind of port the software to work on that as well. But right now on Windows and Mac is what the launch will be with.
So you're saying eventually you might also work on the Linux platform as well?
It would right now today. It's just that you have to use. There's open source kind of software that you can run this printer with. It's not necessarily only our software that it'll work with. So you have a lot of flexibility. Our software is going to be simple to use. As you saw, you basically open your file, click slice and click run, and you're good to go. But if you want more sophisticated kind of flexibility, actually, our software, you can also open that up, and you can control virtually every aspect of your print. But if you are so inclined, you can also use other 3D print software with it.
You said something that rang a bell. In other words, so it sounds to me like your software has a simple, easy-to-use interface, but as you said, you can also open it up for more advanced features. In other words, you want to actually tweak and you want to get into the actual workings. Your software allows people to do that as well.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't constrain people that want to. If your 8-year-old kid wants to actually get into that kind of detail, they're absolutely able to. control every aspect of the printer.
So yeah, exactly. So you can literally control every aspect of the printer. You see that even on today's regular printers. You know, you have the simple, click print here, but then if you want to go into and you want to adjust the color, the gamma, you want, or whatever, the DPI, the resolution, you can get into every little aspect of it and control that as well. And you're obviously taking a lesson from the printing industry to do that. Now, so when you it'll come with the software, it integrates with the operating system, everything, and how does it connect to the computer? What use a USB?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a simple USB cord that connects to the printer. Once you install the software, it just basically integrates with it and loads it. So it's kind of a plug and play once you set up. And just an on-off button. This is the other thing. I mean, we've tried to make it simple. Like, I mean, there's printers out there that have a lot of buttons that you have to worry about and things like that. So we've tried to create just a clean look.
Well, I see lots and lots of buttons up and down. Oh, that's your phone. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yes, no, that's the phone. Yeah, that's kind of
complicated. Yeah, that's a lot more complicated than the printer is. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So. So there isn't. I mean, just from the appearance as well is where we try to create something where people aren't scared to use it, right? I mean, when something like your VCR comes and it's blinking 12 for 2 years because you can't figure out how to change the clock on it, that's what we tried to get away from.
And it looks like you're doing that. I mean, the design of the printer is very simple, very clean. Everything seems to be there's quite obvious what it's supposed to perform, like the little platform that the thing appears on, and you see it going down. Just out of now, it's been out. Who has the printer right now? I know it's still a Kickstarter campaign, but who's playing with it at this time right now?
We have us basically. We've had some trials with different families out there. We have a couple of direct salespeople that are starting to use the printer and going out there into the world. So I mean, we only have a few prototypes at this point, so there aren't a lot. I mean, there's been bloggers that have been asking for it, and we'd love to share them. Yeah. But until we do our production run, we only have 3 or 4 different printers right now.
What would you say is probably the most complex thing that you've printed out with this printer so far? You don't have to show it to me if you don't have it, but we can just.
I mean, that T-Rex skull looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that T-Rex is probably the most complex. Like, it's very intricate.
I can see. Look at that. Yeah, and the detail.
Right, like even the insides and stuff.
Real quick. I mean, if you want to talk about intricate 3D printing, we had a guest on the show a while ago, Bathsheba.com. She does.
Oh yeah.
Projects using 3D printing, and she prints all of her stuff out in steel, and she takes her inspiration from math and things like that, and they're like the only way that you could get a sculpture like that was if you use 3D printing, because you have interlocking joints, there's no seams. I mean, you can get really well, depending on the 3D printer, of course, you can get really intricate.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's things that you can make with 3D printing that you couldn't fabricate another way because you couldn't get inside to cut it out or whatever.
It's very, very novel, which is Bathsheba.com. She actually uses mathematical formulas to create very complex images, and then she makes them into jewelry. I mean, literally makes them into jewelry using the 3D printer as the guide. And she comes up with some very exotic-looking, mathematically complex images that, as an artist, I mean, to try to do that freehand would be extremely difficult to do, and she comes up with these really unusual pieces of jewelry based upon that. But all kind of run a 3D printer. But of course, that is a lot more. She's had it for some time, and obviously that printer costs a lot more money than what the POIEO3D is going to. And it looks like she'll probably be able to do what she wants to with a POIEO3D because it's making these small little jewelry-sized pieces of images. So.
Yeah, I don't have any with me right now, but we've printed bracelets and things like that you can put on, or even ones that link together like a chain.
Yeah. So when she finds out about this printer and that she spent $50,000 on the one that she's had for a number of years, she's going to be upset to say the least. But that's progress. That things technology keeps moving on. And
but I mean, like in her defense, that one prints in steel, and this one, filament.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's definitely differences, right? But I mean, and there are printers out there that do different things like that, like steel or even ones that laser cut and so forth. But again, our target is to have this in your home. I mean, do you really want, a laser cutter?
No.
in your home when you have kids around, you try and use that.
Come check this out.
Yeah, come check this out. Yeah. So, not only does it create a lot of smoke, it can be quite dangerous, right? So what we've tried to do is create something that's safe for the environment at home.
Well, what we've seen here, nothing screams dangerous at all. Everything.
No.
Nothing. It's very simple, very easy to use. No high temperatures or heat. It's obviously very kid safe.
No, everything's contained, and even the whole printer, it actually works on it's only 12 volts inside. It's like a laptop, right? And it actually uses a power adapter like a laptop. So even if you were to spill your coffee on it, you won't get electrocuted or anything. Like it's just trying to be safe from every possible angle. It doesn't even have high voltage.
Yeah, it looks like you've thought of every angle on this again. So when do you think if the Kickstarter when is the end of the Kickstarter campaign?
Well, the Kickstarter campaign goes through December 31st, and after that it closes, and then we're on to manufacturing. And then we're also looking at expanding into retail markets, distribution, and so forth, to put it on the shelves at a store near you. Yeah. But right now our focus is certainly on gaining some of that initial investment to do the Kickstarter campaign, which will allow us to buy the parts we need to do our production run.
Yeah, and how close are you to getting what you need? I mean, how far away?
Well, we're just starting out right now, so it's still a good ways. So if anybody's interested, I mean, it's certainly a good time to get at a very good price for the product.
And the link to the Kickstarter campaign is also at the POIEO3D.com website, so they can.
Yeah.
Okay. And
that's the easiest way. Yeah. If you go to POIEO3D.com.
Right. Or go to.
Link. You can get information there, obviously, but if you link to the buy now, it'll redirect you to Kickstarter at this point in time.
Right. And again. We have the link to the POIEO3D website at our show notes page at computeramerica.com. Well, Tom, really, I want to wish you best of luck. I think this is a very cool project, and thanks so much for taking the time to demonstrate how the 3D printer works. I know for a lot of our viewers, it's probably going to be the first time they actually see something like this in operation, and they get to see it print out a dice cube. Again, I want to thank you for being here with us, maybe we'll get you back, next year sometime after the Kickstarter campaign is finished, and we can follow up and see how things are coming along with you. Okay?
Absolutely, I would love that, and thank you for the opportunity to have a voice with your viewers and show them how this works.
Yeah, and again, thank you, and listen, have a happy Thanksgiving to you, and
also with you and all your viewers as well.
All right, Tom. Thanks again. Thanks for being here with us here on Computer America.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye. All right, there you go, POIEO3D. And again, if you missed this or if you didn't get to see it, we archive all of our shows at computeramerica.com. Just go to our archive at the top of the screen there. Click that. You'll see all of our audio is archived at blogtalkradio.com, and also all of our video is there as well. So you'll be able to watch. As soon as the show is over, it'll be on our YouTube page, and we have the link to that directly there, so you can see it all for yourself. Again, www.POIEO3D, POIEO3D.com, which is the actual website. And then from there you can see the Kickstarter campaign. If you go to buy it, it'll take you to the Kickstarter page too.